Alright guys, so going back to my anime reviews again, it's actually the one I finished most recently, Code Geass. I've been hearing about this one a lot. It's actually my brother's favorite anime of all time, and I knew it was hailed as a great show. So all of this made me really curious to see it. I even, a few years ago, I wrote on my blog that this was an anime I hope to start watching at some point. So a few months ago, I finally managed to get started on it with my brother's DVDs of it, and then after a while, I got my own Blu-ray of the whole show, and I finished it. And in the end, I don't think I loved it the same way everyone else does, but I still thought that this was a really, really great show. I'm honestly surprised by how much I really liked this, but there was just so much great stuff in this that I really, really loved. Also, like always, this will have all the spoilers, so prepare to be for all the spoilers in this. So the plot centers around a guy named Lelouch Of The Rebellion, who is part of a royal family who have subjugated all of Japan and have renamed it Area 11. And his family has also had a huge empire that used giant mechs called nightmares. This is something Lelouch hates and wants to do something about it, especially to make a better world for his younger sister Nonali. But then one day he encounters a girl named C2 who gives him a power in his eye called the Geass, which he uses to make anyone he looks in the eye to do whatever he says. After this, he decides to start a rebellion called the Black Knight with other people who want to free Japan, and he wears a mask now calling himself Zero. He's also having to deal with the fact that his best friend Suzaku is now a member of the Empire and is fighting against him, I'm gonna stop there for now. So the beginning of the series had a really great setup because it introduced this world and these characters really well, while also leaving us a ton of leaving a lot of things open as questions because it just leaves us curious to know so much. I also like how this reminds me a bit of other animes, like something like Death Note, but it still feels unique in its own way. And a big part of me liking this were the characters. I really like so many of them. Some of them aren't very memorable, but the majority of them are. Especially Lelouch himself. It's really interesting the way his character is set up and then presented with being in the position he is, but also being incredibly intelligent and manipulative, but in a good way, not like someone like Yagami, for example. But he's also so well written in so many ways, with being the guy who's trying to take down an empire while also trying to keep his identity secret, while also having to deceive everyone around him and having to deal with so much with a whole bunch of stuff happening in his life, like being like defendant duo and just other people around him. And yeah, I really like various things like that because it helps make him a lot more interesting. Another character I really like is Colin, the girl who's part of the Black Knight, who's one of the first people we see trying to fight against the Britannian Empire as well, along with some other characters like OG with nightmares of their own that they show, and she's eventually thrown through a whole bunch of other dilemmas herself. But I love how the first part of the series shows me how it keeps going with Lelouch and the Black Knight trying to free as much of Japan as possible by fighting different factions of the Empire's army. But there's a lot more to it, considering there's a whole bunch of different twists and turns in this one. And it's like when C2 returns and sort of acts as like a small guide for Lelouch and teaches him different things about the Geass. But also a whole bunch of other crazy things that happen, like when Lelouch is forced to use the Geass to erase the memory of a girl who erased the memory of a friend of his named Shirley who had a crush on him after she realized that he's Zero and has done some kind of bad thing. But that part actually leads to a pretty cool part with a guy named Mao, who actually had a Geass in both his eyes, who has the ability to read anyone's mind, and we learned that he also has an obsession with C2. And we also learned that Mao can't turn his Geass off, and because he was constantly hearing people thoughts in his head, it just kind of drove him to insanity. And there's an incredible scene with Mao where Mao kidnaps Nonoli and he challenges Lelouch to a chess match, and every wrong move that Lelouch makes means Nonoli will die. And what makes it worse is that since Mao can read his mind, he knows what moves he's gonna make. So Lelouch gets the idea to use the Geass on himself to make him forget a plan that he made with Suzanne so that he couldn't read his mind about it. That was a really fantastic scene. And then we see Mao actually killed by C2. But Mao's Geass not being able to turn off eventually leads to something else happening later on. Anyway, from that point on, we also did a whole bunch of other crazy stories, like when Lelouch's Aunt Colin and Lelouch's other sister named Euphemia somehow appear on an island during a fight with all their nightmares after Lelouch tried to use his Geass on Shizatu to stay alive. And Euphemia is like Lelouch in the sense that she wants peace with everyone too, but without violence. And she serves as like a bright, and she actually serves as like a bright spot in the world until eventually something else happens with her. But but later on. But we'll get to that later. Anyway, Lelouch has also gotten a reputation for himself as Lelouch, and he's added more people to the Black Knight, with so many people respecting him as Zero and just having a lot of people on his side. And yeah, I really like that whole loyalty to Lelouch from having a good, from just being a good leader and just people respecting him and stuff like that. I like that. I mean, yeah, they don't know who he is, but they trust him enough because of what he's being able to do with everything and just being able to lead everyone as well as he is. But then this all builds up to a point where Lelouch agreed to go to an assembly arranged by Euphemia called the Specially Administrated Zone of Japan, where Euphemia hoped to unite the people from Japan and Britannia together in peace. And Lelouch appeared as Zero because Euphemia knows it's him, and she asked him to come as a way to unite everyone. I already knew what was going to happen at this point, with maybe eventual scene that followed all the tougher to watch. It just made it all the more horrifying. It's the scene where Lelouch accidentally uses his Geass on Euphemia when he's joking about her killing all the Japanese people, and it causes her to actually go through it because he can't, because at this point, like Mao, he discovers that he can't turn his GI off, and so this leads to Euphemia going out and just turning, just going crazy with the scene, and yeah, it's absolutely terrifying when Euphemia just starts killing every single Japanese person she can find with the other Britannian soldiers doing the same with no one knowing what's going on. And it's made all the sadder when Lelouch eventually is forced to kill her, and that makes it even worse when you got to see who had actually fallen in love with her, and then this makes him even angrier at Lelouch for this, and this makes, and that's when we're introduced to V2, who actually knows C2 as well. So yeah, we eventually learn more about V2 in the next season, but for now, he's just kind of some quiet guy who we don't really know yet. And again, a whole bunch of stuff happens here, like when Lelouch plans to create a new country called the United States of Japan, or when Lelouch almost killed Odie, and when V2 kidnapped Nonali, which leads to Lelouch abandoning the Black Knight to try to save her. And this is all happening while everyone is still fighting, and Lelouch and is still fighting Britannia, and Suzaku is trying to get revenge on Lelouch for what happened to Euphemia. And then Lelouch, Suzaku, and Colin go to the island they were at before, and we actually learned that it was actually V2 who brought Lelouch, Suzaku, and Colin and Euphemia there the first time. But then, as soon as Lelouch and Suzaku confront each other, Suzaku is able to kind of shoot off Lelouch's mask, and so Suzaku and Colin then find out that he's Zero, and yeah, literally this first season ends with both Lelouch and Suzaku pointing their guns at each other, and it's really insane. Just everything that happens here is really, really insane. This entire first season already has so many insane things happening, but it's done really, really well. But overall, really, this first season is really great. It has ingenious writing and fantastic ideas. There's so many scenes where the characters have to use their wit to outsmart each other, and it's done really effectively because of just how intelligent all these characters are. And every episode usually ends with you wanting to learn more and know what's going to happen next, because a lot of these endings have cliffhangers that leave you wanting to know what's going to happen next. And a lot of these action scenes are awesome, especially the fights with the nightmares, because a lot of these mechs are really fast with insane movements and weapons, and it's really fun to watch. And really, a lot of the characters stuff itself I did find really interesting, like Lelouch his duo and him as Zero talking to every one of the Black Knights, and every other character got a great moment as well too, like Colin, Odie, and other ones. I will say though, the one character I mainly think of who was kind of annoying was Suzaku, but I think that was kind of a point. He's the one fighting against Lelouch, and it makes sense that you're supposed to be rooting against him. But still, they do try to help us understand him, and so that he's not really an unlikable character. And then the next season starts and leaves us with even more questions, because we're introduced to Lelouch again, but he doesn't have any memory of anything, and he now somehow has a younger brother named Rolo, and this whole part left me really curious to know what was happening, and then it's later revealed that Suzaku actually put Lelouch at the end of the last season to Lelouch's dad is named Charles Zebra, and yeah, who's pretty much the main villain of the whole show, who also has a GI power, and he erased Lelouch's memory and made him forget everything about like the whole thing about the whole Black Knight Zero thing, and really just kind of motivated life as well, and just made him think that he had a younger brother that he never had at all. But then eventually she, who and the Black Knights are able to bring his memory back with Rolo as well, who also has a GI power that allows him to stop time for a few seconds. And then they get back to work with trying to stop the Empire while Lelouch finds out that Nonely is with his family and now he wants to save her while she's also planning to recreate the best-to-be administrated zone of Japan. And there's a great moment that comes from this too, because Lelouch is able to get himself as Zero exile from Japan, but then he manages to get everyone dressed up as Zero, which means they're always exiled and are able to leave Japan as well. And yeah, it's just a really great idea. Again, just small things like that are really clever and are what make, and yeah, these things, and yeah, moments like this, like that are really clever are what made me really like this show a lot. And then we get more Nightmare battles in the next few episodes, and yeah, the story is making more progress as we get more small things that happen, like when Lelouch and the other Black Knight kidnap the Chinese Empress as a hostage. And there's a lot of sad or heartbreaking moments here as well, like when a weapon that Nina created kills dozens of people, or when it looks like Nonely gets killed, or when Rolo kills Shirley. And you can tell that this is all pushing Lelouch more and more until it looks like he can't take it anymore, and you can really sympathize with him and see where he's going. It's just really great storytelling, and it doesn't really let up from there because we get a whole lot more stuff, like when Colin gets kidnapped and she too is revealed to be some girl from somewhere who was unloved and wanted to be loved by people, which gave her powers and other things, which eventually lead to her previous mind coming back, and she scared of everything and timid again, but then her memories of the series come back, and I did find that part kind of weird and not very necessary, although it does serve a bit of a purpose with Lelouch trying to take care of her, but you can also tell that Lelouch is being put more and more until it almost kind of looks like he's going to become a villain himself, with him going through so much, and eventually this leads to him confronting sorrows and finding out the truth. It's actually about his mother, who he thought was dead, but was actually in the body of a girl. I didn't see that coming at all, and there's just a whole bunch of revelations happening in this point that was really cool to see. And eventually, Lelouch is able to kill both his parents, who were planning to rule everything. But then, to make things worse, one of Lelouch's brothers named Knight revealed his identity as Zero to a Black Knight and convinced them that they're all under Lelouch's GI. And this was all leading to something. I like you can tell that something is clearly clearly being planned by someone, but you don't know what's gonna happen. I also like how even at Bitcoin, the characters still use really clever schemes, like the whole point where Lelouch is able to use his Geass on one of his brothers, and just the way he does that is really clever. But Lelouch then sort of makes it look like he's going to be like his dad and be a ruthless leader and take his place with now fighting against the Black Knights and learning that Nonely is still alive. And the eventual ending is sad too, where Lelouch makes it look like he's gonna take the Black Knight to be executed, but then he has to agree to dress up as Zero and kill him in front of everyone as a way to unite the world against a single enemy and then free the world. It's pretty sad seeing him sacrifice himself like this with everyone thinking that he's still a bad guy. But I guess it's nice at least when Nonely finds out that what he was trying to do and understands him. And then I think maybe Colin does as well. I'm not sure if that's confirmed, but I think he does. But yeah, overall this was a really fantastic way to end the series. And yeah, as a whole, this was a really, really fantastic show all around. I originally started watching this series back in 2018, but it didn't interest me all that much. But I decided to try it again a few months ago, and I'm so glad I did because this was just a really great series overall. It might actually be one of my favorite animes now. It just has so much good stuff in it. The characters are really complex and interesting. The plot moves at a great pace with fantastic twists and turns along the way, and with some really it does have some really heart-wrenching scenes as well. And its action scenes are incredibly well animated as well. Speaking of which, the animation is also just really absolutely gorgeous. This was done by Studio Sunrise, and they did a great job with this. I will say sometimes the way the characters kind of move themselves and just kind of the way their arms might move and just kind of the way they might be moving, like running and stuff like that. It just was a little strange, but it is still really unique, and it's not a distraction in any way. And yeah, the dubbing is all so absolutely incredible. Especially Johnny John Boss as Lelouch himself. I mean, when you get Johnny John Boss as in an anime, you know you're gonna get a fantastic performance, and he does do an amazing job here. And the rest are great too. Are great too, like Yuri Lowenthal as Suzaku and Karen Rathman as Colin. I did have a couple of problems with this, like there were some episodes that in time that could almost be considered filler, and there are some plot points that I feel like could have been removed and the story wouldn't feel that much different, but none of that is a detriment to the quality of the series. It's still really, really great and really compelling and keeps you invested in the story. But yeah, overall, I'm really happy I watched this series, and I hope I'll watch it again soon. So yeah, I highly recommend checking this one out. It's a really fantastic series, and it's also a great series to binge watch as well. So yeah, everyone, so back my review for Code Geass, Lelouch Of The Rebellion. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all liked this video. If you did, then please like this video. Please comment down below to tell me what you think. Please follow me on Twitter at Daniel Maloney, Haitian Disney fan, where I do Kingdom Hearts and Disney please every day, and please subscribe for more content like this coming soon. I'll see you on next time. Take care.